guess I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Jack?
Man, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean? What I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I was on a Bomber One tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Salute to Miss Cass. Without her, none of this would be possible. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. Oscar and Golden Boy Promotions has the family today. We continue Promoter Week today with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. Of course, we did the Bob Father yesterday. Tomorrow is going to be Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. Thursday, Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions. Friday, Al Heyman and the PBC. I know Al Heyman's supposed to be a manager, not a promoter, but we're going to look at Al Heyman and PBC Friday. But the Golden Boy today, Oscar De La Hoya, is going to look at a little history of Golden Boy Promotions, some of his current stable, some of his former stable, some of the great fights he's promoted, It's a deep dive in the Golden Boy promotions today, like we did Top Right yesterday in the Bob Father. But how's everybody? It's Tuesday afternoon, still early in this big week of boxing history. We are embarking on getting closer to the big card this weekend. Another big early 2026 card. Mario Barrios, Ryan Garcia, Gary Antoine, and Andy Hiriaka, Richardson Hitchens, Oscar Duarte, Frank Martin on the card, and Harry Albright. The man just came and fixed my internet. He said he was a boxing fan, and he's picking Ryan. Mm-hmm. Got another subscriber, too. Yeah. He hadn't heard of me, though. He said he don't usually watch podcasts. He just watched the fights. It was getting close to 2:00. I was sorry I brought boxing up because he acted like he wanted to keep talking. He stayed here like 15, 20 minutes longer than he normally would have. But yeah, we on time. Okay. Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions today. But first, let's get into our fight of the day to get things started. All right. Today's fighter. Okay. Today's fight of the day is Oscar De La Hoya versus Julio Cesar Chavez 1. The Mexican Civil War. June 7th, 1996. De La Hoya versus Chavez 1. June 7th, 1996. The Mexican Civil War. Let's get into it. We're going to get the Golden Boy promotions. All right. Chavez De La Hoya and the Latino world's great divide 30 years later. Yep, 1996. Been 30 years. Barely a minute into his 100th professional prize fight against Oscar De La Hoya on June 7th, 1996, the great Julio Cesar Chavez reached out with his bright red boxing glove to confirm a sickening fear. Blood, and not just a trickle, a deluge. Larry Merchant, the venerable HBO commentator, interrupted his colleagues, George Foreman and Jim Lampley, to point it out. The Las Vegas crowd, more than 15,000, packed in the bleachers in the enormous parking lot behind Caesar's Palace, saw it too. Chavez, it seemed, was the last to notice. Lampley credited a stinging right hand from Oscar, the first hard blow of the young fight for the blood. The former heavyweight champion was not so sure. Big George was not so sure. That cut was open in training, Foreman opined. You can believe that. In the early going of his 34th title defense against the 23-year-old prodigy, the challenger's length, speed, and lightning jab were already proving a problem. So was Chavez's ever-sore ankle, an annoyance since way back in 1988, and a chronically painful right hand, ironically, a product of a sparring session with De La Hoya 5 years earlier. But this was more than either age or infirmity. Labeled a legend, a kind word for old, the most popular boxer in the history of Mexico, was already a significant underdog. Now, with blood pouring and De La Hoya's jab flitting out like an angry snake, hitting his mark again and again, Chavez was facing what 97 of his own victims had been forced to endure over a 16-year career. Overwhelming odds. Unconquest. Salute. Fight of the day is Oscar De La Hoya versus Julio Cesar Chavez 1. Okay, salute Unconquest. In the beginning, it was the biggest non-heavyweight fight in the history of boxing. Chavez, Don King's popular workhorse, who helped keep the promoter afloat while Mike Tyson served a jail sentence, was a proven commodity. His legend has spread, however, slowly out of the barrios and Spanish-language newspapers of the American Southwest and into the mainstream of the boxing culture. De La Hoya, under the watchful eye of King's arch-enemy Bob Arum, was taking mainstream to a brand new level for a Mexican-American fighter, presenting a different face for the sport, one much needed after Tyson's fearsome vices had left scars that seemed like they might never heal. De La Hoya smiled. He didn't have a single tattoo, and he spoke like a man who had a direct conduit with a PR specialist at all times. The nature of boxing lends itself nicely to the concept of personalities becoming household names. Think Muhammad Ali. Boxers are individuals, not on a team, and they don't play on a huge field. And here's Oscar, handsome, bilingual, an Olympic star with a clean reputation, who worked himself up the hard way. He'll be a major marketing force in this country. This was 1996. As a result, media outlets from TV Guide to Penthouse came calling on the young star at his home in Big Bear, California, where he did the bulk of his training at altitude. Boxing fans, too, were slowly coming around on the pretty boy, packing Madison Square Garden in December 1995 to watch the young star cap a phenomenal year that saw him named the Ring Magazine's Fighter of the Year for 1995. Despite Oscar's growing notoriety, Chavez was always going to be the fan favorite in this matchup. After all, he was, as Nigel Collins of Ring Magazine noted in the July 1996 edition, both the popular veteran champion and the long shot underdog rolled into one. The grizzled champion is customarily the fan favorite in these instances. Despite the pitiless nature of the sport, boxing devotees are a sentimental lot. And once a fighter has earned their affection, they tend to blindly support him, regardless of the telltale signs of deterioration. In a sport where careers can be breathtakingly brief, longevity means a hell of a lot. Fighters like Chavez, who win consistently at a championship level year after year, are rare and take on reputations of mythical proportions. After all, the natural tendency is to believe that they'll always find a way to win, no matter the odds. Sometimes it almost seems like they have a guardian angel helping them to escape from hopeless situations. But sentimentality doesn't count for much once that bell rings. But something more was going on here. Something bigger than just a coming of age tale. It wasn't just that Chavez was beloved. More startling was the ferocity with which many fans, especially those who looked so much like him, seemed to despise Oscar. Okay? Targeting Chavez actually turned many Mexicans against Oscar, just as many turned on Larry Holmes for doing in Muhammad Ali. And many turned on Rocky Marciano for doing in Joe Louis, and so forth. There's always the risk with the passing of the torch fights that the guy on the way up might embarrass someone beloved and become something of a villain themselves. Oscar was popular throughout his career, but there seemed to be resistance from the demographic that really cherished Chavez. The boos came everywhere the two men went on tour to promote the fight, traveling on separate planes to places like Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, California, and even Los Angeles, California, where De La Hoya was born and raised. He still got booed there during the Chavez promotion. Mexican fans were intrigued by the fight, but they had also picked sides. This fight and these two personalities made it very clear that there was a big divide in the Mexican and Mexican-American communities in the United States. Samuel Regalado, a history professor at California State University, told Bleacher Report. Those differences go back to the 19th century. Mexican nationals never really consider Mexican Americans to be true Mexicans. What boxing did was bring a lot of that tension and those internal cultural differences to the surface. It was a microcosm of all the issues that made the Mexican community so complex at that time. Oscar and Chavez also brought class into it. Julio Cesar Chavez was seen as a real true Mexican hero. He didn't speak any English at that time, didn't sell out. Whereas Oscar, though he grew up in East Los Angeles, once he got some prominence, he moved out of the area. To many, it was as if he somehow sold out his culture and lost connection to his roots. He was an example of an all-American success story, and he was very sensitive to the boos. He'd say, "What did they expect me to do? Live in a shack all my life? Aren't we supposed to be bettering ourselves?" Chavez, the stoic legend, wore the white hat. Oscar, the Mexican-American who played golf of all things in his spare time and talked openly of a career in the movies, wore the black hat in this matchup. It was a surprise to me. I was the golden boy who had every fan on his side, Oscar told Bleacher Report, almost 20 years after the fight. When I won the gold medal in Barcelona, I remember the picture where I was raising the American flag, but also had the Mexican flag in my other hand. I could do nothing wrong. I was the poster child for boxing. When I signed on to fight Chavez, though, it was all downhill. I was actually receiving death threats and people egging my home. young Olympian was not only trying to bury a legend, but saying all the wrong things. At least the Mexican boxing fans, who expected a carefully manufactured machismo from their icons. Of course, I could fight him because I have a big heart also. I know I can take his punches, Oscar told Tim Kawakami of the Los Angeles Times before the fight, but I also want to be known as a great boxer. I don't want to be known as just a gladiator. It was this nonchalant attitude toward the seemingly undeniable allure of blood and guts that caused Oscar to fall as a box office attraction in his native Los Angeles, to even be booed by his parents' countrymen as he fought more cliched Mexican warriors like Gennaro Hernandez. That Oscar has been more like the matador and less like the bull is the source of a long-running frustration in the Latin community. Where Oscar comes from, a blood and guts fighter like Chavez is the ideal, which means that Oscar's ring elegance is considered the worst kind of pretension. People want to see blood and bruises, he says, but I'm not going to give them that. I love boxing, but I hate fighting. Much of mainstream America saw it as just another boxing match, a clash of styles between the warrior and the dancer, a fistic tale as old as time. The Mexican people, however, knew the contest between Oscar and Chavez was bigger than mere sport. It was a clash instead of cultures. There was a divide within the community. There were lots of heated arguments and even fights breaking out over this boxing match. Jose Alamillo, professor of Chicano studies at California State University, said, I felt the tension and saw the conflict in my own family. The older family members were rooting for Julio Cesar Chavez, but I found myself drawn to Oscar because my experience, like his, was more as a Mexican American. I think there was definitely a generational divide in that fight. There was a real distinction. Immigrants who had come from Mexico were rooting for Julio Cesar Chavez as the classic Mexican boxing hero, while second-generation Americans supported Oscar and his Mexican-American Chicano identity. Chavez, a simple man, put it in plainer terms to Associated Press reporter Tim Dahlberg in his seminal book, Fight Time. I'm an authentic Mexican, the champ said. Oscar's not a true Mexican. He has American nationality. Mike Rim in the building. What's up, Mike Rim? Oscar De La Hoya versus Julio Cesar Chavez today, the fight of the day. Okay? And this was more than just a fight. It was a civil war within the Mexican community. And a lot of people, they were booing Oscar everywhere they went for the press conferences and everything. Julio Cesar Chavez definitely had the fans. And Julio said, I'm an authentic Mexican. Oscar is not a true Mexican. He has American nationality. Oscar, then just 23 years old, was struggling with his new circumstances and the unfamiliar sensation of being the villain rather than the hero. He won the Olympic Games as a promise to his mother, who had passed away a year earlier, and had always encouraged him to follow his dreams. Fighting in the ring was easy. Battling the temptations of wealth and a fickle populace, that was the hard stuff. I recall the fighting in the community, the dividing cultures, clearly, Oscar said. I remember that I was considered the gringo. I was the fighter who was born here in the States. Chavez was the true Mexican icon. That fight divided people. It divided cultures. My own father and a few uncles asked me, why did you have to beat our hero? Even my own family was upset with me. It was a fight that made me think, who am I? My identity was lost. I was born in the United States, but with Mexican roots. So who do I claim? And who claims me? I realized I had to be proud of where I was born, the country that gave me everything I have now. But at the same time, I also had to be proud and always represent the culture my family comes from, and that's Mexico. Back then, it was a difficult time for me. The pressure I was feeling because of that culture clash was immense. It was Oscar talking. He said the pressure was immense. Okay, so in the ring, let's look at the fight then. In the ring, this is Julio Cesar Chavez, Oscar de la Hoya 1. In the ring. In Las Vegas, the fight was attracting unprecedented interest, both at the box office, where it became the third biggest fight in the town's history at that time, and at the Strip's many casinos, where more than $32 million in bets were placed, shattering the all-time record. Betting was so intense on the afternoon of the fight that lines for high rollers were elbow to elbow at the $5,000 and $10,000 windows. Caesar Palace's Richie Bassilieri told Jack Welch of Ring Magazine. The lines almost backed out of the sports book. Oscar, a 2-1 favorite by the afternoon of the fight, fought 4 times in 1995, each against a current or former world champion. In the process, he learned things about himself and his team that he didn't like. Oscar had struggled badly against John Molina in a decision win and found himself mortified when trainer Robert Alcazar, a longtime family friend, had no advice in the corner about how to counter the veteran's rough tactics. Enter Jesus Rivera, former trainer of flyweight champion Miguel Cantu, who had disappeared from the sport for more than a decade. Rivera, a bookish iconoclast who studied literature as well as fight film, returned to boxing from his window business in Mexico to instill in yet one more pupil the wisdom of both Willie Pep and William Shakespeare. So Oscar went out and got a new trainer for this fight. The two men went to work in the gym at Oscar's new home in Big Bear, California, crafting a style to beat Chavez. Workmen were still putting the finishing touches on the living area. Oscar had insisted they finish the gym first, a sign his new trainer thought of a solid commitment to the sport. The champion, of course, didn't need any additional seasoning. He was the opposite problem. His was the opposite problem. A battle against time that every fighter eventually loses. His veneer of invulnerability had shown its first cracks in 1990 when it took a controversial last-second knockout to stop Meldrick Taylor. A bogus draw with Pernell Whitaker soon followed before Frankie Randall became the first to beat Chavez in his 91st fight. It was hard to picture Chavez returning completely to form, despite claims he was working harder than ever. The legendary hard man from Culiacan had gotten soft around the middle in recent fights. Against Oscar, he knew he'd have to be at his best, necessitating a prohibition on alcohol 3 months before the fight. Though the New York Times' Tom Friend claimed he had been seen sipping wine during the week of the fight. Seen sipping wine during fight week. What's up, Kuro? Fight of the day, Oscar De La Hoya. Julio Cesar Chavez won. And then we're going to talk about Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. We are talking about Promoter Week this week. Bob Arum yesterday, Oscar Golden Boy today, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom tomorrow, Frank Warren and Queensbury Thursday, Al Heyman, PBC Friday. I know they say Al Heyman not a promoter, but he's going to be one Friday. Okay, but salute Pharaoh, sir. Fight of the day, Oscar De La Hoya and Julio Cesar Chavez. Okay, so by the time the bell rang, a robust press corps had covered nearly everything that could be discussed before a fight, from Oscar's long fingers to Steve Farhood's ruminations on the weather in Ring Magazine. Now, the heat, everyone agreed, would favor Chavez. But on fight night, the sun dipped below the bleachers about an hour before the main event, and the night with Marriage Night turned bearable. If Father Time was in the Golden Boy's corner, so was Mother Nature. Still, it was hot enough in Las Vegas that night. The ring announcer Michael Buffer wisely chose a short-sleeve shirt rather than his customary tuxedo. As referee Joe Cortez gathered the two fighters in the center to go over the rules a final time, Larry Merchant, sitting ringside with HBO commentators Jim Lampley and George Foreman, summed the spectacle up with trademark succinctness. This is youth, talent, ambition against experience. Will against experience, will, and pride. Will and pride, unfortunately, for the fans chanting his name, weren't enough. Chavez's was a style that required time. He liked to wear his man down, slowly sucking the will out of even the most acclaimed foe. The first round cut, as well as the boisterous crowd, motivated Chavez to work at a faster pace. But Oscar wasn't there to be hit. Holding his arms close to his middle to avoid Chavez's brutal body punching, Oscar relied on his speed, jab, and improved head movement to emerge from the fight as pretty as he went into it. Chavez wasn't so lucky. Cut by his left eye eventually forced ring doctor Flip Homansky to stop the fight in the fourth round. Yeah, they stopped it in the fourth round. I saw the cut open, but I still kept my composure, Oscar told the press after the fight. One thing about me, I can focus up in that ring. Julio Cesar Chavez is my idol, but my job is to win fights. Up in that ring, I had no feeling whatsoever for Chavez. A funny thing happened as the blood poured. Oscar thought to be the grinning, prim, and proper face of Oscar. Thought to be the grinning, prim, and proper face of corporate boxing, revealed the devil inside, suffocating Chavez, as Sports Illustrated Richard Harford described, with uncut and unadulterated violence. When Chavez, who in his declining years had to learn the taste of his own blood, became desperate and lunged forward in the fourth round. The kid unleashed an uppercut to the nose to begin a machine-like six-punch barrage. Not one of the punches missed, and they literally exploded Chavez's liquefying face. It was chilling, not because of the gore. It was chilling because such killer flourishes are aspects of character, not training. A new thought occurred. Oscar De La Hoya entering the ring had picked up all the dancing live wires he could find and marinated himself in the amperage, and he liked it. And he liked it. Outwardly, Oscar was as gracious as ever, even as Chavez chalked up the loss to bad luck, blaming his cut on an injury suffered in training weeks earlier. The proud champion, after only the second loss of a career that numbered 100 fights at that point, gave his 3-year-old son, Christian, who he said headbutted him 3 days before the fight, more credit for opening the cut than he gave Oscar. Almost 20 years later in an interview, you could still hear the anger in Oscar's voice as he discussed the fight. But the joy was there too, as well as a sincere appreciation for the opportunity he was granted. I felt extremely privileged and proud to have been in the ring with my childhood hero, he said. Chavez was my hero. So when he started making excuses that he was already cut, and it was sheer luck that I hit him in the perfect spot to open an old wound, it was a disappointment. It was my destiny to face Chavez. In boxing, there's something we call the passing of the torch. It was out with the old and in with the new. That catapulted my career to a whole new level. In terms of popularity, of credibility, I wouldn't change anything. Okay, there's the fight of the day. That was a long one. Wow. Okay. Okay, Puro. All right. Yeah, rest in peace. Okay, so now you're going to talk about Golden Boy today. We're looking at some of the big promotional companies this week. Today is Golden Boy Promotions. Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. Look at a history, some of his former stars, some of the current ones, like Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Zerto, Kid Austin, Gabriela Fundora. Yeah, we're going to take a look at them too. We're going to do a little profile on some of his current stars in the stable too. Okay, Golden Boy Promotions today. Let's get into it. All right. And then at the end, we got 40 reasons why fans like Oscar as a fighter. Okay, as a fighter. Okay, let's go get to Golden Boy Promotions today. With salute. We got Puro Sir, Mike Grimm, Unconquest, and Miss Cass. And the Drunk Irishman in the building. Salute. The Drunk Irishman. Golden Boy Promotions today. This is Promoter Week. Did the Bobfather yesterday. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I think. Let's see. The cable man just left here fixing my internet. He was a boxing fan too, but he never heard of Cass Sports. I was like, how can you be a boxing fan and never heard of Cass Sports, the box story, huh? Okay, Golden Boy Promotions. He must not be a hardcore like us. No, he's pretty good. He was talking real good and everything. Yep. Okay. Oh my goodness. How am I offline? Man, just let me fix my internet. Bear with me for a moment, please. This is crazy. It says I'm connected. Okay. Bear with me for a minute. Technical difficulties. I just got to get in and I'm good. Okay, here we go. I'm in. Man, haven't been going an hour working on it. Okay, here we go. Golden Boy Promotions. Okay, Golden Boy Promotions is an American boxing promotional firm based in Los Angeles, California. Founded in 2002. Gee, Christmas, man. Okay, founded in 2002 by Oscar De La Hoya, a 10-time world, I think 11-time world champion across 6 weight divisions, Olympic gold medalist, and International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee. As the company's chairman and CEO, De La Hoya established Golden Boy as the first nationally owned boxing promotion firm led by a Hispanic American, focusing on developing professional fighters and staging major events to elevate the sport. The firm has grown into a key player in the industry, securing partnerships with major broadcasters and streaming platforms to broadcast its fights globally. Let's see. Purple says, like Floyd, Oscar started Golden Boy to change the game, but became what he was trying to change. Yep, that's facts, Pharaoh. Turned into what he was trying to change. Yep. That's facts. Right there. Now, since its inception, Golden Boy Promotions has promoted over a dozen world champions and organized blockbuster fights that have drawn millions of viewers, including the Canelo Alvarez vs. Gennady Golovkin trilogy, which generated record pay-per-view numbers and solidified the company's reputation for high-stakes matchups. In 2014, De La Hoya acquired full ownership by buying out co-founder and former CEO Richard Schaefer, allowing him to reshape the organization amid internet challenges and expand its roster of talent. By 2017, the company had secured a multi-year deal with ESPN to also air 18 annual events, marking a significant boost in visibility and underscoring its commitment to building stars from diverse backgrounds. In recent years, Golden Boy has maintained its prominence through strategic alliances, including a renewed multi-year partnership with DAZN for live event streaming, and by signing promising stars such as undefeated middleweight blue chip talents in 2025. The promotion continues to feature high-profile fighters like Ryan Garcia and Virgil Ortiz Jr., while planning major events including discussions for a potential 5 vs. 5 showdown against Matchroom Boxing, emphasizing its ongoing role in fostering competitive boxing rivalries and global audiences. Okay, now let's look at a little history. Dig into Golden Boy's history now. Okay? Oh, shoot. History. Okay. Dig into Golden Boy's history. Founding in the early years. Golden Boy Promotions was established in 2002 in Los Angeles, California by Oscar De La Hoya, a renowned boxer. Himself secured world championships in 6 weight divisions across a distinguished career spanning multiple classes. As the first Hispanic-owned national boxing promotional company, it marked a significant entry into the industry by a fighter leveraging his Olympic gold medal and professional accolades to build a new venture. The company's initial purpose centered on promoting De La Hoya's own high-profile fights while nurturing emerging Latino talent in boxing, drawing on his celebrity to elevate underrepresented fighters in historically Anglo-dominated promotional landscape. The blockbuster De La Hoya vs. Floyd Mayweather Jr. super fight in 2007 generated over 2.4 million pay-per-view buys and underscored early successes in event production. To manage operations, De La Hoya assembled a key executive team, notably hiring Richard Schaefer as CEO in 2003, a former banker who co-founded the company and handled financial and strategic aspects to professionalize its structure. Early years were marked by challenges in roster development as the nascent promoter competed fiercely with industry titans like Don King and Bob Arum, whose established networks dominated fighter signings and broadcast deals. Despite these hurdles, Golden Boy focused on targeted signings and regional events in California to build momentum by the mid-2000s. Okay. Growth and major milestones. Here's him and Canelo right there. That was that signing right there. Growth and major milestones. Let's talk about it. In 2007, Golden Boy Promotions secured a significant output deal with HBO, which provided the company with a platform to broadcast its events and elevated its visibility in the boxing industry. This partnership enabled the promotion of high-profile fights under the HBO boxing banner, contributing to the company's rapid scaling from a nascent promoter to a major player by featuring emerging talents and established stars. The deal, which lasted until 2011, helped Golden Boy host numerous televised cards, solidifying its role in delivering premium content to a wide audience. Okay, now, a pivotal element of Golden Boy's growth was the promotion of Canelo Alvarez, who made his professional debut under the company's banner on October 29, 2005, at age 15 in Tonala, Mexico. Alvarez's rapid ascent, marked by undefeated streaks and title wins, became a cornerstone of Golden Boy's success, culminating in blockbuster events like his 2017 catchweight fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. on May 6 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, which drew over 20,000 fans and generated substantial pay-per-view revenue. This fight not only highlighted Canelo's stardom, but also underscored Golden Boy's ability to orchestrate marquee matchups that boosted the company's revenue and market dominance. By the early 2010s, Golden Boy had positioned itself as one of the leading U.S. boxing promoters, rivaling Top Rank in event production and fighter development. Okay. The company's roster expanded notably in the late 2000s and 2010s through strategic signings of accomplished fighters including welterweight Shane Mosley in 2005, who brought championship pedigree and co-promotional opportunities. Similarly, Bernard Hopkins joined as a partner and East Coast president in 2004, later fighting under Golden Boy in high-stakes fights, while Victor Ortiz signed in 2008, adding youthful welterweight potential to the stable. These acquisitions enhanced Golden Boy's depth, enabling a diverse lineup that supported consistent event programming. Golden Boy further grew its international footprint by focusing on Mexico and Latin America, where it hosted regular events and cultivated regional talent through partnerships like the 2010 multi-year deal with Televisa for monthly Mexican fight series. This initiative promoted fighters from the region on Televisa's networks, reaching millions of viewers and establishing Golden Boy as a key promoter in Latin markets. By the mid-2010s, the company was producing around 50 events annually, including international cards, reflecting its evolution into a global powerhouse with a strong emphasis on Latino boxing heritage. Okay, recent developments. Okay. Technique. What's up, Technique? Looking at Golden Boy today, Technique. Promoter Week. Did Bob Arum yesterday. And Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy today. Excuse me for a minute, please. There it is. Okay, I got it. Okay, salute Technique. Let's continue with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. Okay, recent developments. There's him and Ryan and B-Hop and I can't see who that is down there. Okay. The COVID-19 pandemic significantly disrupted Golden Boy Promotions operations in 2020, leading to limited live events with no spectators and several postponements due to positive tests among participants. To adapt, the company launched a digital content initiative in April 2020 featuring archival fight videos, original programming, and short-form social media content to maintain fan engagement amid the restrictions. This shift toward streaming and virtual promotions helped sustain visibility during a period when the broader boxing industry faced financial strain, prompting Golden Boy to secure federal loans for survival. BBO Sports TV in the building. What's up, BBO Sports TV? Okay, BBO says the Golden Boy is his favorite fighter of all time. Okay, BBO tonight, 8 o'clock. Salute, BBO. Okay, let's continue. This is Promoter Week. Bob Arum was yesterday. Eddie Hearn tomorrow. Okay. A major challenge came with the departure of star fighter Canelo Alvarez in November 2020, following contract disputes over guaranteed payments in his $365 million DAZN deal. Canelo filed a lawsuit in September 2020 against Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, and DAZN, seeking at least $280 million in damages for alleged breach of contract and inconsistencies in fight scheduling rights. The legal battle was resolved through Canelo's release from the agreement, allowing him to become a free agent. Though subsequent audits and discussions in 2021 confirmed underpayments and finalized the split without further litigation. Yeah, so they did owe Canelo some money. But he got out of his contract and became a free agent, and the rest is history. Okay. Post 2020, Golden Boy emphasized digital media strategies to target younger demographics, building on its historical roster growth by prioritizing prospect development through accessible streaming platforms. This included a renewed multi-year partnership with DAZN, announced in May 2022, extending to a 5-year deal that featured championship nights and the monthly Golden Boy Fight Night series to showcase emerging talent. The Golden Boy Fight Night series has remained a cornerstone of these efforts in 2025, delivering high-profile knockouts and title defenses streamed on DAZN. Notable highlights include Virgil Ortiz Jr.'s second-round knockout of Erickson Lubin in November 2025, where he retained the WBC interim junior middleweight title, and other electrifying stoppages throughout the year that underscored the promotion's focus on competitive action. In January 2025, Golden Boy expanded its heavyweight and cruiserweight divisions by signing 4 promising prospects. Cruiserweights Tristan Kalkruf, 14-1, 10 knockouts, and Robin Safar, 17-0, 12 knockouts, along with heavyweights Federico Pacheco Jr., 7-0, 5 knockouts, and Olympian Joshua Edwards. I think they signed Joshua last year sometime. These contracts signal a strategic push in the larger weight classes, aiming to cultivate future champions amid the promotion's ongoing adaptation to digital-first boxing landscapes. Okay, so now we're going to look at some of the roster, fighters and roster for Golden Boy, okay? We're going to look at some of their roster now. That's Oscar Collazo right there, okay? Fighters and roster. Current roster first, then we're going to look at some former fighters that Golden Boy had too. Current roster. Okay, Golden Boy Promotions maintains a dynamic roster of over 20 active fighters spanning multiple weight classes, emphasizing a blend of established champions, rising prospects, and international talent as of November 2025. Okay, just 1 second. Yeah, as of November 2025. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, as of November 2025. The company's stable includes boxers from the United States, Mexico, and beyond, such as Puerto Rican star Oscar Collazo, reflecting a strategic focus on diverse markets and skill sets to broaden global appeal. Okay, another current star is Zerto. Okay. Among the current champions under Golden Boy are unified WBA and WBO cruiserweight title holder Gilberto Zerto Ramirez, who defended his belt with a unanimous decision victory over Uniel Dorticos in June 2025. WBA, WBO, and Ring Magazine minimum weight champion Oscar El Pupilo Collazo, set to defend his unified titles in upcoming fights. Undisputed women's flyweight champion Gabrielle Fedora, who aims to solidify her status in high-profile defenses. Okay, excuse me for a minute. That is. Okay. But yeah, Gabriella Fedora, is one of the current stars. She claims to solidify her status in high-profile defenses and unified. I think she's undisputed down there. Unified WBC and WBA flyweight champion Ricardo Sandoval. Man, what? Okay. Bear with me for 1 second, please. We gotta change this up. Take me 2 minutes. We're looking at some of the current stars. Current stars in Golden Boy stable right now. I mean, you got the Virgil Ortiz or Ryan Garcia yet. But Gabriela Fondora, Oscar Collazo, Ricardo Sandoval, Zerdo. Pretty good stable, I must say. Okay. Okay, here we go. What was going on with that nonsense? Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. And we're back. Fighters and roster. This is doing the same thing. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to work my way through this. Okay, fighters and roster. Let's continue with that. Okay, other key stars on the roster include super welterweight contender and WBC interim champion Virgil Ortiz Jr., a knockout artist who recently defended his title, lightweight welterweight star Ryan Garcia, who returned to form after 2023 with a multi-fight deal secured through 2026, positioning him for welterweight title opportunities. As a matter of fact, this weekend, Ryan Garcia will be in there against Mario Barrios. This weekend. And I wasn't even changing my pictures. Okay. Oscar Collazo. Zerdo. Gabriela. No, Virgil. Okay. Virgil. Ryan Garcia. Okay. Okay, here we go now. In 2025, Golden Boy bolstered its heavyweight division with promising signees, including Joshua Good Edwards. Yeah, I thought they signed him last year. A 25-year-old Olympian whose explosive power and athleticism mark him as a future contender after his professional debut on a Golden Boy undercard in April. Yeah, because the heavyweight is bare here in the United States. We need a good American heavyweight because the cupboard is bare. Federico Pacheco, 21-year-old undefeated prospect from Los Angeles, 6'5" frame and knockout potential. This is Gabriela. Golden Boy's development strategy centers on gradual progression, placing prospects on high visibility undercards to gain experience against vetted opponents before escalating to title eliminators and championship fights, as seen with Edwards and Pacheco's early matchmaking on the zone streamed events. This approach fosters skill, refinement, and fan familiarity, enabling fighters like Ortiz Jr. and Sandoval to transition they transitioned seamlessly in the main event mainstream status. Notable alumni now, some of the former stars. These former stars from Golden Boy's stable. Okay. Canelo, he's still active, but he's former Golden Boy star, right? One of the most prominent figures in Golden Boy Promotions history is Canelo Alvarez, who signed with the company in January 2010 after leaving All-Star Boxing. Under Golden Boy's guidance, Canelo captured multiple world titles, including his first, the WBC Super Welterweight Championship, and later the WBC Middleweight title, establishing him as a pay-per-view powerhouse with high-profile fights like those against Miguel Cotto and Gennady Golovkin. Canelo's tenure with Golden Boy spanned over a decade, during which their promotion elevated his status to that of boxing's biggest star through strategic matchmaking and media exposure. Canelo departed Golden Boy in November 2020 following a contract dispute and lawsuit against the promoter and broadcaster DAZN, becoming a promotional free agent. Post-departure, he signed a multi-fight deal with Matchroom Boxing, continuing his pursuit. Okay, he signed a multi-year deal with Matchroom. Okay, Bernard Hopkins. Looking at some former Golden Boy stars. Mike Masick, what's up, Mike? Golden Boy Promotions today. You know, this is Promoter Week. We're looking at some former stars of Golden Boy now. We just touched on some current ones. And we're going to look at these current stuff like Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, Zerdo, Gabriela Fundora, Collazo, all of them later. More deeper look at them. A little sport profile on each of them, okay? About 6 of them. Bernard Hopkins, a boxing legend, known for his middleweight dominance, joined Golden Boy for late career promotions starting around 2009, leveraging the company's platform to extend this record-breaking run. Key fights under Golden Boy included his 2011 rematch victory over John Pascal for the WBC light heavyweight title, where at age 46, he became the oldest fighter to win a major world championship, and subsequent defenses against foes like Chad Dawson. And he broke his own record twice. It's what, 49 overall, right? Okay. But anyway, Hopkins' association with Golden Boy culminated in his final fight in December 2016, a loss to Joe Smith Jr. that prompted his retirement at age 51, after which he transitioned into a partner role with the promotion. Some kind of president on the East Coast or something like, I don't know what his exact title is. Golden Boy's support allowed Hopkins to shatter age barriers and mentor younger talent, solidified his legacy as one of the sport's most durable champions. B-Hop. That's some big names. B-Hop, Canelo, Sugar Shane Mosley. Other notable alumni include Shane Mosley, who fought under Golden Boy in the late 2000s and early 2010s, regaining the WBA welterweight title in a stunning 2009 knockout of Antonio Margarito at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Mosley's tenure featured marquee events like his 2010 challenge against Floyd Mayweather Jr., who he parted ways with the promotion amid contract disputes in 2010 to pursue independent opportunities. Victor Ortiz signed with Golden Boy as a rising welterweight prospect, achieved prominence with his 2011 WBC title win before his infamous loss to Mayweather later that same year in a fight co-promoted by Golden Boy, after which he navigated a career marked by legal and personal challenges as a free agent. Okay. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the son of the iconic Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., spent much of the 2010s with Golden Boy, capturing the WBC middleweight title in 2011 and headlining major cards, including his 2012 clash with Sergio Martinez, before departing in 2018 to sign with Top Rank. Went to the Godfather. These alumni exemplify Golden Boy's role in nurturing elite talent, with the promotion facilitating dozens of world title opportunities that boosted their profiles and drew global audiences, though exact figures vary by source. For instance, Canelo alone participated in over 10 title fights under their banner. Post-Golden Boy, many pursued independent paths or new promoters, allowing greater autonomy in fight selection while carrying forward the marketability toned during their Golden Boy tenures. Promotional activities. Promotional activities. Okay. Promotional activities. All right. Boxing promotions. Okay, this shows some of the big fights they done promoted now. Okay, that's first one. That's B-Hop and Oscar. Of course, they promoted that one. Yeah, that was a big one Golden Boy did. B-Hop and Oscar. The liver punch. Golden Boy Promotion serves as a cornerstone in pro boxing by organizing high-stakes events that blend marquee matchups with talent cultivation. The company structures its cards to feature main events headlined by established stars, supported by undercards that spotlight emerging fighters from its roster, fostering development while delivering comprehensive fight nights. These events typically occur multiple times annually at premier arenas worldwide, emphasizing spectacle and competitive depth. Okay, that's Juan Manuel Marquez and Marco Antonio Barrera. Okay, another big Golden Boy fight. A hallmark of Golden Boy's promotional strategy was its long-running partnership with HBO from 2008 to 2018 under the banner Golden Boy Promotions on HBO, which broadcast a series of elite fights and elevated the visibility of its fighters on premium television. This era concluded with HBO's withdrawal from boxing programming in late 2018, prompting Golden Boy to pivot to the Zone for pay-per-view and live streaming deals, enabling global accessibility and continued high-profile presentation. Okay, let's look at another one. Golden Boy's big fight they promoted. There we go. Okay, who is this? This is that's the same. Manny and Oscar. Yeah. Manny and Oscar. Mm-hmm. Golden Boy Promotions. Among its most notable achievements, Golden Boy co-promoted the 2008 welterweight super fight between Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, which shattered pay-per-view records at the time, with 1.25 million buys and $70 million in revenue, underscoring their promotional prowess in generating massive commercial interest. The company also orchestrated the first two installments of the celebrated middleweight trilogy between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin in 2017 and 2018, fights that drew over 1 million pay-per-view buys each and solidified Canelo as a pound-for-pound force through intense, closely contested wars. Okay? Intense, closely contested wars. There's Canelo and Floyd. Okay? Golden Boy. Golden Boy has facilitated dozens of world title fights, including defenses that highlight its champion's dominance across weight classes. For instance, former unified junior welterweight title holder Jose Ramirez, who joined the promotion in early 2024, secured key victories that year, such as his unanimous decision win over Francis Bartholomew in April and his unanimous decision loss to Arnold Barboza Jr. on November 16, 2024. Events often unfold at iconic venues like the Staples Center, now the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California, where Golden Boy has hosted numerous cards since the early 2000s, blending local fan engagement with international appeal through layered undercards. Okay, Shakur and Zepeda. That's a recent one. Okay. In a push for innovation, Golden Boy has expanded into women's boxing with dedicated events showcasing elite talent. A prime example is Gabriela Sweet Poison Fundora, the youngest undisputed flyweight champion in history, who defended her WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, and Ring Magazine titles multiple times in 2025, including 7th round TKOs over Marilyn Badillo in April and Alexis Kubicki in September, advancing gender inclusivity in high-level promotion. And Golden Boy has also ventured into MMA. Let's talk about that. MMA venture for Golden Boy Promotions. MMA venture. Golden Boy Promotions ventured into mixed martial arts in 2008 by a 50-50 partnership with Affliction Entertainment, aimed at co-promoting pay-per-view events blending boxing and MMA fights. The collaboration debuted with Affliction banned on July 19, 2008 at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. It was the name of it. Headlined by Fedor Emelianenko's submission victory over Tim Sylvia. This was followed by Affliction Day of Reckoning on January 24, 2009. Also in Anaheim, where Emelianenko defeated Andrei Arlovsky by armbar in the first round. The partnership's third planned event, Affliction Trilogy, was in 2009, and that it featured Emelianenko again against Josh Barnett in the main event. That was for the WAMMA heavyweight title. But that event fell through after Barnett tested positive for anabolic steroids, leading to the entire card's cancellation and Affliction's subsequent withdrawal from MMA promotion in July 2009 due to mounting financial pressures. With only 2 events realized under the alliance, Golden Boy shifted emphasis back to its core, boxing operations, amid the instability in the MMA market. Okay. So business operations finally to end up the Golden Boy. Business operations. We got 40 reasons why boxing fans like Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter. The last part is important. As a fighter. Okay. Leadership and partnerships. Golden Boy Promotions was founded in 2002 by Oscar De La Hoya, 11-time world champion over 6 weight divisions, and he served as its chairman and CEO since inception, evolving from hands-on promotion during his active fighting career to a strategic leadership role focused on talent development and global expansion. Okay, and it's headquartered in downtown Los Angeles at 628 Wilshire Boulevard. Golden Boy maintains a centralized structure to coordinate its United States-based promotions with no publicly confirmed international offices, but extensive event operations in Mexico to tap into the region's boxing heritage. This setup has facilitated partnerships and talent scouting across borders, contributing to the company's role in fostering boxing's growth. In media and broadcasting deals, we've ended up in this Golden Boy out. Media and broadcasting deal. Golden Boy in the zone. Golden Boy Promotions established a long-standing partnership with HBO shortly after its founding in 2002, serving as the network's primary boxing promoter for over a decade until the relationship ended in 2013. This exclusive arrangement produced numerous high-profile telecasts, including world title fights featuring fighters like Oscar De La Hoya himself, providing ringside commentary in his post-retirement role. Now, following the HBO split, Golden Boy transitioned to streaming with DAZN in 2018 through a landmark 5-year, $365 million agreement that included exclusive rights to 11 fights, headlined by Canelo Alvarez, marking one of the largest deals in boxing history at the time. Although Canelo parted ways with Golden Boy and DAZN in 2020 after a contract dispute, the promoter extended its partnership with the platform, signing a 3-year deal in late 2021, and further expanding to a new 5-year multi-fight agreement in 2022 that encompasses championship nights and prospect series like Golden Boy Fight Nights on DAZN. In parallel, Golden Boy maintained ties with traditional broadcasters, including a multi-year deal with ESPN starting in 2017 for 42 fight cards aired on ESPN2 and ESPN Deportes, and ongoing agreements with Fox Sports for domestic distribution on networks like Fox Deportes and regional outlets. By 2021, these events evolved into hybrid models, integrating DAZN streaming with ESPN and Fox telecasts for select events, enhancing accessibility across platforms. As of 2025, DAZN remains the exclusive global broadcast partner for Golden Boy's events, valued at approximately $18 million annually, while YouTube integrations have grown for preliminary fights and highlights, including live streams from venues like YouTube Theater under a multi-year partnership announced in 2024. Golden Boy's pay-per-view successes underscore its broadcasting impact, notably the 2015 co-promotion of Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao, which generated a record 4.6 million buys and over $600 million in revenue distributed via HBO pay-per-view. Complementing these deals, Golden Boy's digital strategy emphasizes social media expansion, amassing over 3.5 million followers across Instagram, Facebook, and X as of late 2025, alongside live streams on his YouTube channel and the DAZN app to engage younger audiences with fight previews, highlights, and full cards. There you have it. Oscar De La Hoya, and Golden Boy. Now, let's look at 40 reasons why boxing fans like Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter. No, first let's take a look at some of the current. The 40 reasons why fans love Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter, or 6 current Golden Boy fighters. Any, many, money, more. Okay, 40 reasons why fans like Oscar. No, we're gonna look at the fighters. I don't like Oscar all that much, no way. Let's look at the fighters. 6 current Golden Boy fighters in this stable. Okay. We got Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Gilberto Ramirez, Oscar Collazo, Gabriela Fundora, Floyd Schofield. Take a brief look at these guys. We might have enough time to get to Oscar. 40 reasons why the fans like Oscar. Oscar was a beast when he was fighting, though. And it's as a fighter, not as a promoter or a pitch net wearer. Sorry. It's as a fighter. Right? I didn't know the Golden Boy thing was going to run that long. Oh, this must have been meant. I pulled up the 40 reasons why the fans love Oscar anyway. So let's take a look at that. We ain't got to look at all of them. Okay, here we go. This thing keeps saying I'm offline. I don't know why would I be offline. Told you the man was just here before I started fixing the thing. Okay, we're gonna get it up in a minute. Bear with me. One more time. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. We're going to look at 40 reasons why boxing fans love the Golden Boy, PBO's favorite fighter of all time. Mine is Roberto Duran. I lived through them 70s. Roberto was a beast. One of the closest to a fighter can get to being unbeatable was Roberto Duran at lightweight in the 70s. Only lost once. I believe he was 54-1. And the one man that beat him, he came back and beat him twice. Okay, 40 reasons why Oscar De La Hoya is so popular among boxing fans. He's the Golden Boy of boxing. People are associating boxing to Oscar instead of vice versa. Oscar is Hispanic American, so he connects with both American and Mexican fan bases. yeah, connects with both the American and Mexican fan bases. Okay. Two huge fan bases right there. He is eye candy for all the ladies who are forced to watch boxing by their boyfriends and husbands. Wow. And they get to look at that Oscar too hard, and the man saw his wife change the channel. Okay. Unlike many fighters who cannot do an interview to save their lives, Oscar had a great presence in front of the camera. He was articulate and actually sounded intelligent. This is as a fighter now. He already showed people that he can make it as a businessman in boxing with the success of Golden Boy Promotions. Power. In his 39 victories, he won 30 by knockout and stopped some of the best fighters in his era. That's who he definitely fought. He had a 76.9 knockout ratio for Oscar, 76.9. While on his way to stardom, Oscar swept through 6 of boxing's weight classes. Although he lost 6 fights, he only had 1 bad loss. That was to Manny Pacquiao. And the other 5, all 6 of his losses was the Hall of Famers. Felix Trinidad, Shane Mosley, twice, Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Manny Pacquiao. All 6 of Oscar's losses to Hall of Famers. Oscar has defeated some of boxing's best during his career. He stopped top-name fighters such as Julio Cesar Chavez twice, but it was past his prime Julio Cesar Chavez. Fernando Vargas, Arturo Gatti, Ricardo Mayorga, and Rafael Ruelas. In addition, he won decisions over Pernell Whitaker, Hector Camacho, Ike Corte, and Felix Stern. He won a gold medal for the United States in the Barcelona, Spain Olympics, 1992. Green Magazine named Oscar Fighter of the Year, 1995. He defeated an amazing 17 world champions during his career. Oscar dominated boxing, 11 world titles in 6 different weight classes. While he had a very remarkable pro record, 39-6, his amateur record was even more impressive. Amateurs, he had 228 fights. He won 223, lost 5, 163 knockouts. One of the top earners in the history of the sport as a fighter. Oscar is the first Hispanic American boxer to become a promoter, and that while still actively fighting. He's a devoted family man. While many top fighters fight soft opposition for much of their career, okay, listen to this. Oscar did not follow that path. Never in his professional boxing career did Oscar fight an opponent with a losing record. He scored a huge upset over the favorite Rafael Ruelas in a second-round TKO for the IBF title, lightweight title, early in his career. Knocked out his childhood idol and Mexican hero, Julio Cesar Chavez. At only 24 years old, Oscar won a unanimous decision over then pound-for-pound king, Pernell Whitaker. Oscar showed his heart with his 12th round knockdown of Ike Corte, which secured him a victory in a very close fight. His fight against Phyllis Trinidad, entitled The Fight of the Millennium, showcased two of the best fighters in the sport at that time. Yep, him and Tito. The combination of Oscar and trainer Floyd Mayweather Sr. resembled the dynamic duo of Steve Young and Jerry Rice. Similar to his controversial loss to Trinidad, when Oscar lost a split decision to Shane Mosley, fans once again thought he had won. Oscar beat his longtime rival in impressive fashion with an 11th round TKO of Fernando Vargas, who was soon discovered to have taken steroids before the fight. Before his fight with Ricardo Mayorga, Oscar acted like a gentleman by keeping his emotions in check, even while Mayorga insulted his sexuality and his family. Oscar got the last laugh with a TKO in round 6. Yeah, anybody ever seen a Ricardo Mayorga press conference before a fight? Ricardo was terrible, man. Wow. He called Oscar gay and everything, talked about his family. But Ricardo did that to everybody. He was terrible. Smoked a cigarette on his ring wall. But yeah, a Ricardo Mayorga press conference. Oscar was portrayed as the good guy in his fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr., also known as the World of Weights. He also was the first opponent to beat Floyd on a scorecard. Fight fans were really able to get to know Oscar when HBO chose to create the 4-part series, De La Hoya Mayweather 24/7. That was the first one for that fight. You know, where they look to the fighters' camps and look at their personal lives, doing camp and stuff. Yeah. I think Showtime had one, ESPN, but that HBO, De La Hoya Mayweather 24/7 was the first of that type of series. Yeah. While he was not able to knock out the durable Steve Forbes, Oscar was able to put on a boxing clinic for his fans in that fight. Over his career, Oscar generated approximately 11,665 pay-per-view buys and $594.4 million in revenue. That's a lot. And that's as a boxer, not counting promotional money as a promoter. Although not as popular as a contender, Oscar hosted the boxing reality television show, The Next Great Champ. Oscar is a partial owner of the Major League Soccer club, the Houston Dynamo. Are they still in? No. Oscar created the Grammy-nominated CD and his own line of casual clothing. His autobiography is titled American Son. Never read it. Oscar was the cover boy for EA Sports Fight Night, round 3. Oscar has a tendency to work his hardest in the last 30 seconds of each round, which not only impressed fans, but also the judges. You got that from Sugar Ray Leonard, was famous at that. Stealing rounds in the last 30 seconds. Yeah, Oscar used to do that too. And finally, Oscar De La Hoya is one of the reasons why boxing regained its popularity in America in the 90s and 2000s before it lost it again. Okay, let's get a couple of these stars currently in Oscar's stable in before we get out of here. Get a couple of these stars currently in Oscar's stable. Start with King. There he is. I mean, I don't know what's telling me I'm offline. Can I be offline and the man just came here and fixed it? It's crazy. Okay, here we go. Look, let's take a look at Ryan Garcia. Okay, we got 6 of them. Ryan, Virgil, Durdo, Oscar Palazzo, Gabriella, Kid Austin. Ryan Garcia gonna be first. If I can get back online, that is. That is. Okay. Oh, come on. Don't you hate when that happens? Okay, come on, man. Work with me. We only got 20 minutes. Internet. Okay, there we go. Ryan Garcia, also known as King Ryan. I got 6, so we might get them all 6 in. We're gonna get a couple in. These are just some of Golden Boy's current fighters, current members of the Golden Boy stable. Since we're on Golden Boy today, Ryan Garcia is first. Oh. Ryan Garcia. Where's up? Here we go. Ryan Garcia, American pro boxer, competes in the welterweight division currently. And he briefly held the WBC interim lightweight title in 2021. He turned pro in 2016 at age 17 after an accomplished amateur career. And what is he? I think he's 24-2, 1 no contest, 20 knockouts, underscoring his reputation for explosive power and hand speed. Ryan captured the WBC interim title by 7th-round knockout against Luke Campbell on January 2nd, 2021 in Dallas, Texas, marking his most significant achievement to date. Because he got the no contest against Devin, but he in action this weekend. Beyond the ring, Ryan distinguishes himself through his social media influence, boasting over 12 million Instagram followers and leveraging platforms to build a massive fan base that has driven high-profile pay-per-view events. His career includes marquee fights, such as a majority decision loss to Gervonta Davis in April 2023. I mean, not a majority decision, a TKO loss, what I'm talking about. April 2023. And he had a win over Devin Haney. That was a majority in April 2024. That was later ruled a no contest after Garcia tested positive for the banned substance, ostarine, resulting in a 1-year suspension by the New York State Athletic Commission. Ryan has faced further scrutiny for erratic online behavior indicative of personal struggles and was expelled from the WBC in July 2024 for repeatedly using racial slurs against Black people and making Islamophobic comments on a social media live stream. Yeah, he got in trouble. I think he got fined. He didn't send his he's supposed to send his weight video in the 2-week point before the fight. I don't think he did it. I think the WBC fined him. Okay, we're looking at a couple of Golden Boy members of Golden Boy stable currently. Virgil is next. Virgil Ortiz is next. Good Golden Boy fighter. Virgil Ortiz. Okay. Junior. Virgil Ortiz Jr. Here's Virgil. Let me see. Okay. What's up, Virgil? There he is. All right. We're looking at it next. Some Golden Boy fighters. Virgil Ortiz Jr. Now, he competes in the super welterweight division. As of November 2025, he remained undefeated with a pro record of 24 wins and no losses, 22 by knockout. That's a very impressive knockout ratio. I'll give you Ryan's too. Ryan had 20 and 25 wins. Ryan is 80 on the dot. Virgil is, let's say, 24 and over 22 knockouts. Virgil knockout ratio is 91.6% knockout ratio. Okay, 24 losses, 24 and over 22 knockouts, and he holds the interim WBC super welterweight title, 154. Born in Grand Prairie, Texas, to parents Virgil Ortiz Sr. and Mila Revelis Ortiz. He was introduced to boxing at age 5 by his father and quickly excelled in the amateur ranks. Virgil compiled an impressive amateur record of approximately 140 wins and 20 losses, earning 7 national championships, and a victory at the 2013 Junior Olympics. Turning pro in 2016 at age 18, Virgil signed with Golden Boy Promotions and rapidly rose through the ranks with a string of first-round knockouts, establishing himself as a knockout artist known for his power and orthodox stance. Virgil's professional career has been marked by high-profile victories and title pursuits in the 154-pound division. He captured the interim WBC super welterweight title in August 2024 by a majority decision over 12 rounds against Sergio Boachuk, and successfully defended it on February 22nd, 2025, defeating former world champion Israel Madrimov by unanimous decision in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And again on November 8th, 2025, stopping Erson Lubin in the second round. Standing at 5 feet 10 inches with a 70-inch reach, Virgil is ranked among the top contenders in his weight class and is positioned for potential unification fights or challenges against full WBC champion Sebastian Fundora, as well as a highly anticipated matchup with Jaron Boots Ennis, though negotiations have stalled due to Golden Boy Promotions' demand for a 60-40 first split in favor of Virgil, with his team highlighting alternative high-profile options amid promotional challenges, including the zone deals and PBC partnerships. All right. Get one more in. One more. Zerto will be the final one. Zerto, Gilberto Ramirez. These are just 3 Golden Boy's top current fighters. I had 6. I had Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Gilberto Ramirez, Oscar Collazo, Gabriela Fundora, and Floyd Schofield. Okay, Gilberto Ramirez will be the final one. Don't forget tomorrow is Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom tomorrow. Gilberto Ramirez. It's only going to be like 2 minutes. Little brief talks on him. Okay. Gilberto Ramirez, one of Golden Boy's current stars, got a big fight against David Benavidez coming up in May. No. Zerto can put that. A lot of people counting Zerto out, but I'm not. I'm not. I got a 50-50 right now. Roberto Zerto Ramirez Sanchez, born June 19th, 1991. Right? A 2-division world champion who currently holds the unified WBA and WBO cruiserweight titles. Notable for becoming the first Mexican-born fighter to claim a title in the cruiserweight division. A southpaw standing at 6 feet 2.5. He turned pro in 2009. 48 wins, 30 by knockout. 1 loss as of November 2025 to Dimitri Bivol. His career highlights include winning the WBO super middleweight title in 2016 and later moving up weight classes to achieve cruiserweight dominance after a setback in the light heavyweight division. To Bivol, the only loss. He was born in Mazatlán, Sinaloa, Mexico. Zerto grew up in a challenging environment surrounded by crime, violence, and limited opportunities, which he has described as offering little hope for the future. He began boxing at around age 12 as a means to escape these hardships and channel his energy positively, quickly showing promise as an amateur boxer, making his pro debut on August 21st, 2009, with a first-round knockout victory. Promoted by Golden Boy Promotions from 2021 to currently, his rise gained momentum in the super middleweight division, where he made history on April 9, 2016, by defeating Arthur Abraham by unanimous decision to capture the vacant WBO title, marking the first time a Mexican boxer won a world championship at 168 pounds. Yeah, 2016, okay. First one to do it at cruiserweight, too. Zerto successfully defended the WBO super middleweight belt 5 times against opponents including Dominique Wade, Jesse Hart, Roamer Angulo, Habib Ahmed, and Tommy Carpenter, before vacating it in 2019 to pursue opportunities in higher weights. His only professional defeat came on November 5th, 2022, when he lost a unanimous decision to Dimitri Bivol in a bid for the WBA light heavyweight title, prompting a strategic shift to cruiserweight. There, he captured the WBA cruiserweight super title on March 30th, 2024, by outpointing defending champion Arsen Goulamirian over 12 rounds, making him the first Mexican cruiserweight world champion. He unified the division on November 16, 2024, defeating WBO champion Chris Billiam Smith by unanimous decision in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and defended both belts against former champions Muniel Dorticos in 2025, also by unanimous decision at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. As of November 2025, Ramirez, now 34, has a fight coming up with David Benavidez, and is recovering from shoulder surgery earlier in 2025. He did fights in May. Okay, there you have it. Golden Boy Promotions today. Tomorrow is Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Thursday, Frank Warren Queensbury. Friday, Al Heyman and the PBC. Promotion week. Boxing promotion week. Okay? About everybody enjoyed the show today. We'll be back tomorrow with another one, of course. Another classic fight of the day to start things out. And then we're going to talk about Eddie Hearn. Oh, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. And then Frank Warren Thursday, Al Heyman Friday. Okay. Appreciate everybody. Mike Mazik, BBO Sports TV, Technique. Mike Mazik, Technique, BBO Sports TV, Azim. Wait, that's yesterday. Today's the 17th. Okay. Colonel Sir, The Drunk Irishman, BBO Sports TV, Mike Rim, Unconquest, and Miss Cass. Right. I was reading yesterday's list. Appreciate everybody for stopping through. And we will have another one tomorrow. Because if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Appreciate y'all 1,000,000%. Everybody have a great afternoon.